NBS Live at 9.
We are pleased to present to you the results of the primary leaving examination.
The 2025 primary leaving examination results have been released, showing a slight performance improvement.
More detailed analysis has been done on achievements at the various grade levels as well. Essential for our teachers, therefore, to adjust their teaching methods.
Minister of Education says the revision of the primary school curriculum will provide a solution to examination malpractices.
This will also be an opportunity.
And you have one teacher teaching the class, all the subjects.
Education experts speak out on the likely impact of teachers' strike over PLE performance.
So we need to look at the detail of what happens.
Why has DP shifted loyalty to northern Uganda?
Our actors in Buganda were majorly tainted with the called delusional grandeur.
Could it be the influence on Norbert Mao?
They want money. You see, monetarizing politics has affected us.
Eyes on the next Acholi parliamentary group. Will it crush under the same bickering as the outgoing group? And the good news is,
we need to find out how do we then link the two systems.
The judiciary's alternative dispute resolution disposed of 8,200 cases nationwide.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Victoria Sibia, Samson Kasumba, and Kanari Mugume.
Sometimes you never quite know when the results are released, whether it is the parents who are more stressed or it is the learners. But anyway, nobody's stressed. So let's begin the bulletin. Uganda National Examinations Board has released the results for the 2025 National Examinations, showing that the performance is slightly more improved if compared to previous years. And we're talking 2024 here. The results do show that English was the best done subject. And here it was where the subject was much better done by the boys in comparison to the girls generally.
According to NEB, 817,313 learners sat for 2025 PLE, an increase from 786,981 who sat in 2024, with more girls amounting to 52.4% sitting for these exams compared to boys at 47.6%. The released results show that more learners at 91,990 passed in Grade 1 in 2025 compared to 84,301 who passed in the same division in 2024. English was the best done subject, accounted at 91.9%, followed by science at 90.5%, while mathematics amounted to 89.9%, and registering the worst performance was social studies SST at 86.7%.
At grade 8, those who have got at least grade 8 and above up to D1, that means the overall pass level, Mama stands at 91.9% compared to 88.3%. This indicates that English was better performed than all the other three subjects, and also compared to last year, we had an improvement in the performance of English. The reverse is true, Mama, for social studies.
Much as more girls compared to boys sat for exams, the boys outperformed girls almost in all subjects, registering more distinctions and credits in all subjects.
Males and females, the males are a little better up to some level, and then we can see now the males, their curves come down, meaning more of them are in the upper distinctions.
The board also registered cases of malpractice with districts including Kisoro, Kampala, Mukono, Namutumba, Kasanda, Buyende, Kaliro, among others, having some of the affected candidates.
The board will withhold the results of these affected candidates pending completion of our investigations. And where there will be a prima facie case, the board's tribunal, the Examination Security Committee, will accord all the affected candidates a fair hearing before making the final decisions.
The 2025 primary leaving examination results are in, and here is a breakdown of the performance by division. Now, a total of 91,990 pupils made it to the top division, scoring excellent grades. Now, a significant number, that is 388,293 pupils secured second division passes. And as well, 165,226 pupils got third division passes, showing moderate performance. Then it was those 84,724 students that managed to pass, but maybe need to improve at the next level. And it was a total of 77,080 learners that didn't quite make the cut. Unfortunately, 10,570 learners missed the exams, and that is got to be a huge number, as you definitely see on your screen. That is the breakdown of the numbers. Now let's just break down the 2025 PLE results by subject. Of course, we begin with my favorite, and it's just got to be English, isn't it? Now, a total of 807,432 learners sat with a 10.1% scoring the top grade, and that is, of course, in English. Now, 67.6% passing and 91.9% cumulatively passing. Then we go to social studies. You know what that is. In my days, that included civics, which has been since chopped off. Now, in social studies, 807,460 learners sat with 3.3% top scores and 62.7% pass rate, and cumulatively 86.7% did pass. Then you go to your science. Some of you remember Introduction to Biology when we still studied it. I hope they do study it. But let's just go to science, where 807,387 pupils sat and performed decently with 6.1% top scores and 66.9% pass rate and 90.5% cumulatively passing. That's got to be very good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us all pray, because we're now going to mathematics. Now, in mathematics, 807,456 pupils sat with 9.6%, thank God, scoring top grades, and 66.7% passing, and cumulatively 88.9% passing cumulatively. And those are the official grades. Now, on the results, there is a minister, and she is the First Lady. That's the Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Katahab-Museveni. She expressed dismay that there are still reports of examination malpractices with teachers and UNEB officials being involved. She attributes the surge in the examination malpractice to posting specific invigilators at the request of school directors, as well as posting fewer than required invigilators. However, the minister says that plans are underway to revise the primary school curriculum, which she says will bring the vice to the end. She underscored the importance of focusing on understanding rather than performance, explaining why the ministry has invested in teachers' capacity building and emphasis on new teaching methods that match the new realities in the country and indeed in the world. Her concern comes at a time when the Uganda National Examinations Board is considering changing the grading system, and here are her comments.
When examination distributors deliver the question papers, envelopes to the center, The head teacher, working with already corrupted and compromised scouts, cut open the envelopes and access paper for the purpose of assisting the candidates before or during the examination. The desperation arises from the desire for their schools to get many candidates passing with aggregate 4. This apparently is the gold standard by which parents rank schools.
It is essential for our teachers, therefore, to adjust their teaching methods to the new realities. The Ministry of Education is implementing various interventions to ensure quality capacity building of our teachers. Furthermore, the Ministry of Education and Sports has embarked on reviewing the primary school curriculum to ensure alignment with the revised lower secondary curriculum. This will also be an opportunity for a review of the way learning in primary education is monitored.
Now, concerns have been raised over the impact of last year's teachers' strikes on the performance in the primary leaving examinations in government-aided schools especially. Education experts say prolonged teacher absence disrupted learning, forced rushed syllabus coverage or you could say syllabi coverage, and left pupils without enough time to master key competencies. They do warn, these experts warn, that unless teaching methods are improved, dialogue with government and sustained classroom presence is prioritized, the learning gaps will continue to affect both the pupil performance and the country's future workforce.
The impact of last year's teachers' strike in universal primary education schools has resurfaced following the release of the primary leaving examination results, with education stakeholders warning that prolonged absence of teachers affects not only exam performance but the future of learners. The Chancellor of Victoria University, Mganga Lawrence, says learning disruptions deny children the full support they need to acquire skills and competencies.
Some of them have suffered and have not really gotten the competences they were supposed to get because the teachers were not there to support them to the finish line.
Muganga acknowledges that teachers' welfare is important, but insists that strikes should never come at the expense of learners. He says dialogue with the government remains the best option.
If you had a positive dialogue with government and you agreed what you agreed while you're doing your work, there is a win-win for everyone.
He explains that while the curriculum remains the same, the pressure to recover the lost time forces teachers to rush lessons, leaving learners without enough time to master content.
Because they don't have time now, they are going to rush students through this curriculum in order to cover up whatever they lost. So, in the process, these kids don't have enough time to master. Remember keywords, mastery, and then demonstration of competencies.
The Uganda National Teachers Union also links performance gaps to unrealistic academic expectations placed on young learners. Philbert says pupils are often expected to remember content taught over many years within a short examination period.
But they want to ask you questions which will be picked from the whole cycle, and they want you to answer them in 2 hours. Then they will say you have failed, you are a failure academically.
Education experts now warn that celebrating exam results without addressing learners' gaps risks masking deeper challenges within the education system, calling for renewed focus on teaching methods, learner support, and sustained teacher presence in class.
I'm now joined by Dr. Mary Goretti Nakabugo, the Executive Director of UWEZO, a research-driven civil society organization that generates, shares, as well regular independent evidence on the status of education here in East Africa. Dr. Nakabugo is with me this evening. Doc, what factors do you think have influenced the kind of results that we have seen?
Yeah. Thank you very much. First of all, congratulations to the candidates, the parents and the teachers upon completing this cycle. So we are seeing a mixture of results here. So we are seeing some improvements, modest improvements. For example, improvements from distinction 2 we are seeing improvements in terms of, for example, the girls. We are seeing more girls, sustained actually, more girls completing the cycle. But there is an issue of, yes, you have more girls completing, but the boys actually outperform them. If you see the number of boys in Division 1 and Division 2, they are more than girls. Even when fewer completed the cycle, you are seeing more girls in ungraded than boys. So it's a mixture of results. And one of the factors that is influencing, I think that was also talked about by the Executive Director of UNEB, is the shift from being competence, being just about knowledge or memorization to competence-based. And that is kind of trying to align what is happening in primary education to the shift that has already happened in lower secondary. So on the other hand, on one hand rather, where learners have been taught to understand rather than memorization, when you shift the questioning to application, to solving problems, they kind of thrive. But in cases where the teachers or schools have not transitioned to competence-based, if you didn't prepare them to competence-based examination, because assessment and examination have to be aligned with how the students are taught and how they learn. So if you shift before you ensure that all teachers and schools have transitioned to that, then you have an underperformance. And this has been demonstrated, for example, in social studies. If you look at the subjects, all the other 3 subjects, it is said, and it actually indicates that there were improvements in English, there were improvements in mathematics, in science, but a very big decline in social studies. And one of the reasons that is being indicated is that learners in social studies found difficulties in application in solving problems or in real-life contexts, meaning that it is possible that the teachers for social studies were not really prepared and they lacked the competencies in teaching in a competence-based model.
UNEB is talking of changing the grading system. How will this help motivate learners and as well in the assessment and school performances as well?
You know what? I think over the years, right from independence, our education system has been criticized for being just academically oriented, for producing graduates who cannot think, who cannot apply what they have learned, who cannot solve problems. So the transition to competence-based curriculum or teaching and learning, which is not only happening in Uganda, in East Africa, all countries have actually transitioned, or if not all, at least most of them. So that transition is not only for actually the first beneficiary is the learner or the young person, because once the transition into the world of work, the expectation is far beyond than just remembering and recalling what they learned. It's solving real problems and applying knowledge that they learned to real life situations.
Absolutely, yes.
So the motivation here is that the young people will come out of the education system with the skills and knowledge and competences that are required in the world outside school.
I'd like your take on this. Yeah. Dr. Mganga has been out there saying, what are we doing examining a 13-year-old and what benefits are there? Do you think he has a point that maybe we should scrape PLE and just live without it? After all, whoever asked for the PLE certificate anyway?
You know what? In an ideal situation or in an ideal context, I was one of those advocates for scrapping the PLE because in any case, we have many children who drop out, who don't actually complete the primary education cycle, yes, but those who don't even transition to secondary school because of that roadblock. But after you have done research, and also, being in this country, the work ethic, because the PLE, first of all, serves as a selection
Okay.
But also, it serves as an accountability measure. So selection, because all secondary schools are not at the same level, and if you have very few, you have to find some kind of measure to select.
Okay.
But also accountability. If you just leave it to children to just transition to P7, I'm telling you, there are some schools and teachers who are not going to teach.
Very, very interesting take on that. Well, you never know. You never know. But Dr. Nakamgo, thank you very much for your thoughts there. What do you think? What do you think? Should we do away with PLE? But then teachers might not teach. Maybe. Let's get to an opinion here and find out what is out there in the opinions. But as well, Democratic Party is taking stock after suffering one of the worst performances in the 2026 primary elections. That story is coming back, but let's first do feedback. What is the general view? And we're talking what is the general view here of pupils' performance, your general view of pupil performance for 2025. And as you've heard Dr. Nakamgo, let's hear what your view is. You may not have a PhD, but let's hear. I mean, you have a view, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's get away. Okay. Overall performance in PLE 2025 is viewed as slightly improved, but uneven, with urban schools doing better than rural ones, mainly due to better teacher availability, learning materials, and consistent learner supervision throughout the year. That's one of the views. That's Karinaki Arthur. Who else does have a view that wants it to be read on national television? Well, the Rainmaker here says, the board and ministry have taken tremendous strides in organizing these national examinations and continue to drive reform. It is commendable. The literacy rate in Uganda is on track despite the shortcomings. Something very positive there. Who else is there? Is there somebody else? Is that Ad Satan? No, Ad Satum. Social Spotlight is the views of our leaders here. Let's get to one of those views, or a couple of those, if we may. And do we have any here already? Do we have any already here? Maybe they're coming. Oh yes, one is here. Antonio Gutierrez. Nowadays, the law of power seems to be prevailing over the power of the law. International law trampled, the cooperation eroding, multinational institutions under assault, and but the UN is determined to continue working for peace, justice, responsibility, and progress. Who are you talking about? Abias Ramwiri. This morning I addressed media on unlawful registration and licensing of drug shops by Allied Health Professionals Council. The National Drug Authority maintains that it is the only statutory agency mandated to license anyone trying to retail drugs to the public, including drug shops. Now, this is what is coming when we do come back from the break. Wait for it before you go anywhere. Don't move a muscle.
More to come, brought to you by...
Everyone knows we use Global Paint Undercoat. Now, for the best results, I continue with Global Paint's products.
Global Paint, a reliable...
Well, the Democratic Party is taking stock after suffering one of the worst performances in the 2026 parliamentary elections. The party managed to secure only 6 seats countrywide. Now, since they secured 6, let me also secure a seat as we head into the break.
In the heart of Uganda lies a place where dreams become a reality. Welcome to Zion Estates, your gateway to prime land with titles across Uganda, with estates in Mukono, Bombo, Kaga, Matuga, and many more other estates. With over 15 years of experience, you're guaranteed the best, and you can start paying in installments. All our estates are well planned. Start your journey to land ownership today. Zion Estates, your home, your prestige.
Today is a good day to draw up a new play. So start something. Make your move and get in your groove. Do it for the gram. Do it for the culture. Be loud. Be extra. Be a thinker. A life eater. A Tusker light drinker. Start something. Turn on your light. Tusker light.
Starting with 100,000 shillings, you begin building real financial strength, because wealth doesn't just happen. You build it. And the ones who start early end up ahead. Every deposit, every month, every little increase. This is how your money grows into wealth. Put your money to work with the experts at SBG Securities. Partner with us today on your investment journey.
SBG Securities. Keep growing for you, for them, forever.
This Valentine's Day, love knows no limits. Boundless love and Ensonga z'omukwano at Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa. Feel the magic as legends Maddox Sematimba and Jamal Waswa serenade the night. Plus, step back in time with Rasta Rob MC and the Twins. Crown the night in our luxurious rooms from $165 single or $185 double. Tickets go for 1 million shillings for a platinum couple and 2.8 million for a group of 6 and includes a sumptuous steak dinner with house wine. Tickets available now at cricket.co.ug. Brought to you by Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa in partnership with Capital FM and Mosaic Marketing Collective.
Today, we choose our future. We choose peace. Let's protect our home from violence. Differing choices are part of democracy. Every voice matters. Every vote is for our shared country. Trust in the process and the electoral bodies. Let's vote with our hearts and minds, without provocation and intimidation. This is home. Let's keep it safe. Let's talk peace.
I want to be an engineer. I want to be a chef. I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a musician. I want to be a basketballer.
Twinbrook International School is a school where you will see people from around the world. It's diverse. You will have the opportunity to experience things you've never experienced before. We have highly skilled teachers and a comfortable environment that does not pressure but eases the minds of students to help them into their future careers. Our school integrates art, culture, history, language, and performing arts such as drama, music, and dance into the academic curriculum. Work smart, succeed. Twinbrook International School.
This Valentine's Day, love knows no limits. Boundless love and Ensonga z'omukwano at Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa. Feel the magic as legends Maddox Sematimba and Jamal Waswa serenade the night. Plus, step back in time with Rasta Rob MC and the Twins. Crown the night in our luxurious rooms from $165 single or $185 double. Tickets go for 1 million shillings for a platinum couple and 2.8 million for a group of 6 and includes a sumptuous steak dinner with house wine. Tickets available now at cricket.co.ug. Brought to you by Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa in partnership with Capital FM and Mosaic Marketing Collective.
Welcome back. You're still watching NBS Live at 9. Moving on to more of our stories. The newly appointed Chief Justice, Flavian Zeja, has attributed the low referral of cases for mediation to resistance by some judicial officers to non-adversarial justice systems. describing it as a major hurdle to the effective implementation of alternative dispute resolution, or ADR. Justice Zeja says the judiciary leadership may consider making mediation referrals mandatory, even in instances where judicial officers are reluctant, in order to strengthen the use of ADR mechanisms.
Annual Alternative Dispute Resolution Performance Review, Chief Justice Flavian Zeja faulted judicial officers for their hesitation to refer matters for mediation, even in cases where mediation presents a viable and appropriate option. Zeja noted the resistance to non-adversarial justice systems may not be entirely the fault of judicial officers, explaining that traditional legal training and curricula largely emphasize litigation over mediation and restorative justice.
You know, they would teach us how to cross-examine a stubborn witness. How do you cross-examine a denying witness? And then at the end of the day, we would come out as proud lawyers who know how to cross-examine. But none, I don't remember anyone telling us anything to do with ADR.
The Chief Justice urged judicial officers to explore ways of integrating traditional justice systems into the mainstream criminal justice framework, saying this would promote harmony between courts and the communities they serve. He said overriding traditional systems is a recipe for disaster.
What they were asking me is, we go home, we negotiate, and we say, okay, you killed our woman, bring 120 cows. The clan brings the 120 cows. When they come for their prisoner, we tell them that for us we are continuing, this is murder. So they were not happy with that. So we needed to find out how do we then, link the two systems.
The first Alternative Dispute Resolution Performance Review, covering the period January to December 2025, shows that court annex mediation and plea bargaining resolved more than 8,200 cases nationwide. These contributed to a steady reduction in the judiciary's overall backlog and reinforced the shift towards people-centered and restorative justice. Former Chief Justice Alfonso Winnie-Dolo likened alternative dispute resolution to traditional African justice mechanisms where minor offenders are subjected to lighter restorative punishments without necessarily engaging the formal court system.
The concluding 11th Parliament saw a sharp divide, intrigue and clicking in the Acholi parliamentary group. With 11 new faces, what will be different in the Acholi parliamentary group, and what will drive the Acholi agenda in the 12th Parliament?
The 12th Parliament will see 11 new faces from Acholi sub-region, something providing fresh hope from what the region saw in the 11th Parliament, where the group was overshadowed by intrigue, division and cliques, which took a toll in their performance.
I asked myself whether I should really stay as a member of the APG or continue doing my things on my own.
As the country prepares for the 12th Parliament, the region is already questioning what their representatives will offer them in the next Parliament.
We have to unite. We have to work together. And the unity should not just be for us members of Parliament only. It has to come also to the cultural leaders and the religious leaders, the opinion leaders.
Number one on the agenda is wealth creation. Our people still languish behind. Looking at all the statistics, our people are not doing well.
Norbert Ma, who has been the interim chair of Acholi Parliamentary Group, says the 11th Parliament had individuals who did not think beyond self and were partisan.
My only achievement as interim leader was to ensure that there was a ceasefire. That's all. We just managed to have an uneasy calm between the various camps. But the Acholi Parliamentary Group is not supposed to be partisan.
To the senior Acholi leaders, the 12th Parliament must reflect on what is good for the people and must stay connected to the people and their needs than intrigue.
The voters are already counting that you're an MP. They are not even waiting for you to be sworn in. And this period between your swearing in and you being voted are very crucial, because there are things they'll pick about you that they'll run with it through the 5 years period you're going to be in Parliament.
So we are going to organize a retreat, bring credible leaders like our elder brothers, Ambassador Olarotunu and Chief Justice Owindolo, and some of our cultural leaders and other reputable people to speak to us. Then afterwards, we will go and elect the new team of leaders.
President Yoweri Museveni has appointed veteran broadcaster Alan Kasuja as Executive Director of the Uganda Media Centre in a letter dated December 27. President's direct involvement in the decision was in response to concerns raised about management issues at the media centre. But who is Alan Kasuja? Well, let's have a look at his early life and foundation. He was born in 1978, while he was also a child, lived in exile, of course, in Kenya over there. And we're looking at the professional timeline. In the 1990s, his media debut on Sanyu FM in Uganda.
Alan Kasuja, born in 1978, is a Ugandan journalist and radio broadcaster working for BBC News. Kasuja was one of the main presenters of Newsday on the BBC World Services. Alan Kasuja spent the first 12 years of his life in Kenya, where his family had fled to escape the dictatorship of Idi Amin. He returned to live in Uganda when he was 12 and later studied law at Makerere University. Kasuja began his media career in the 1990s at Sanyu FM. He has worked in both Ugandan TV and radio. He previously hosted the morning radio show, The Big Breakfast, on Kampala-based 91.3 Capital FM and has presented the Ugandan version of the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire since 2011. He later joined the BBC, where he spent 13 years as a senior presenter on the World Services Newsday program and hosted the Africa Daily podcast. He left the BBC in August 2025. Kasuja also co-moderated Uganda's 2016 presidential debate, a first in the country's electoral history. The Uganda Media Centre plays a central role in coordinating government messaging, facilitating official briefings, and managing in coordinating state institutions and media.
Now looking back at the politics, the Democratic Party is taking stock after suffering one of the worst performances in the 2026 parliamentary elections. The party managed to secure only 6 seats countrywide, fewer than in the previous elections, with most of its victories coming from the Acholi sub-region, raising fresh questions about DP's future and national appeal.
But you are also likely to see the hardcore remaining intact, because we have a battle, and up here and among some of you there, we have the hardcore of the party that has kept the party.
The Democratic Party leadership is still counting losses following the 2026 parliamentary elections after winning only 6 members of parliament nationwide, a decline from its 2021 performance. Of the 6 MPs, 5 were elected from the Acholi sub-region, including Party President General Norbert Mao. Only 1 seat was secured in Buganda, Bokoto Central, where Engineer Semabala emerged victorious. The results come amid long-standing claims that DP's support base has shrunk and become regionally confined. However, party leaders insist the outcome proves the party still enjoys national appeal. More than 100 DP flag bearers contested across the country, but only 6 emerged victorious. The concentration of wins in Acholi surprised many party members, especially after the party suffered heavy losses in its traditional strongholds in Buganda.
By the way, our major concentration was of course, northern Uganda and the central region. The problem with the center is that they did not even have unanimity on a message. Their message was choreographed in such a way that it sounded like a message from other parties. So they did not follow. There was no moving swan song on the lips of Democrats in Buganda here.
Party leaders hold divergent views on their performance in the parliamentary election.
It's not a shift. It is a resolution made by voters. They have come up. We had about 100 members of parliament who contested, and the outcome was that.
DP Vice President Fred Mukasa-Mbide, however, attributes the poor performance to internal party conflicts and political hostility, particularly in Buganda.
Our actors in Buganda were majorly tainted with what we would call delusional grandeur, gladiatorial circus. They believed so much in themselves, something we call honorific ability to dignity, having excessive belief in honorableness of a person. And that is what our players here in Buganda suffered.
Both leaders agree that prolonged internal wrangles weakened party structures and divided supporters, costing DP critical ground support.
Cost of regionalizing politics is what you're seeing now. But I'm thanking God that people are going to sit and think twice.
Despite the setback, Dr. Mayambala says the party is encouraged by victories outside Buganda, arguing that this silences critics who claimed DP was politically finished.
There is this talk, DP is a Buganda team, party, which is not so. Tribalizing DP is indeed not right.
DP leaders have now pledged to rebuild support countrywide and dismissed claims that their cooperation agreement with the ruling NRM has damaged the party's credibility.
We need now to introduce DP to areas that are traditionally not DP. And today say, yes, you are married to movement. Movement bought you. But you see, there's no receipt.
Political analyst and lawyer Elias Tumwebaze says DP President Norbert Mao played a crucial role in keeping the party afloat, warning that without his influence, DP could have been wiped out completely.
Honorable Norbert Mao has somehow consolidated those positions, especially for the benefit of the Democratic Party, and therefore most of the candidates for DP won in the Acholi region, which has led to the trend which we are seeing, DP having more MPs in Acholi.
As debate continues over DP's future, some voices say meaningful reforms in leadership and strategy may be necessary, especially as the party's alliance with the NRM continues to draw public scrutiny.
In the event that anybody begins to feel that our marriage sinks DP, I do not know what actually their analysis is based on. In effect, I feel we are actually flourishing with this cooperation.
Now, moving on from that, for generations, it has symbolized royalty, respect, and tradition. Yet, for years, many Ugandans have struggled to see it beyond certain. Fashion to interior design and branding creatives are transforming buckcloth into a powerful expression of identity and a potential flagship for brand Uganda. Our reporter Linda Ndumwami takes us through how this ancient fabric is being reinvented for today's local and international markets.
For centuries, it has wrapped kings, honored elders, and marked life's most sacred moments. But today, Uganda's buckcloth is stepping beyond tradition into galleries, homes, and international markets, telling a new story of identity, innovation, and sustainability. Made from the bark of the mutuba tree, buckcloth is one of the world's oldest textiles still in use. Uniquely Ugandan, the tree is never cut down, its bark regenerates, making buckcloth not just cultural heritage, but an eco-friendly fabric with global relevance.
Because at that space, it was not the Ugandan market, it was the expatriates, tourists. That was our agenda. They're the ones at that time who appreciated art, design, and heritage that is transformed into a contemporary form.
Sarah Nachisanze saw a gap and an opportunity. While the buckcloth was rich in meaning, it struggled to survive in a modern market. To keep it relevant, she had to reimagine it.
So the tips I produced, I got were those. How can we transform the buckcloth from from what it was in the past, in the, antiquity, and how can it survive, how can it prevail, how can it be appreciated in a modern space. So that is what I used, color, manipulation of the lines, how to use the lines, how to shape the product, and that kind of thing.
The international market reacted, and gradually something shifted back home.
Even the local market has come up to appreciate backcloth, because I think as we have moved on, as we have evolved, the self has become also very important. I mean, your locality, your belonging, your identity. So people have evolved, they have transformed. So today, Ugandans also appreciate.
But even as backcloth is modernized, artisans insist that its cultural essence must never be lost.
So whatever you do with it, one thing that we have done is not to kill its eco-friendliness, its organic nature, and appreciate the beauty.
Deeply embedded in Buganda culture, backcloth has long symbolized respect and royalty. Kings and elders were buried in it, and key ceremonies still use it today. Ironically, these same associations have caused some Ugandans to fear or shy away from the fabric.
Don't appreciate what we go through in making it beautiful, and either removing or decreasing the myth of it is used at burials, relating it with death all the time, and juju, for example. So that is the reason they fear the backcloth, because that myth is still carried around. Even in the young generation, it is still carried around.
For artisans like Fred Mutebi, innovation begins with respect for tradition.
But the artisans actually are using 100% traditional means. No modern equipment is introduced yet. So it's all traditional, it's all by hand, it's all, the way it had been made ever since it was invented.
Despite its beauty, working with backcloth is not without challenges. It is fragile, expensive, and its quality can be inconsistent. However, educating Ugandans to embrace remains an uphill task.
Cultural appropriation is caused and stereotyped by the local people is what has actually held its progress back. I'm hoping or suggesting that we are at a moment where instead of demonizing it, stereotyping it, let's appreciate the little that is remaining so that we build it up to full revitalization.
But its potential is vast. From art and fashion to paper and interior design, backcloth is proving it can cross borders and markets.
The stereotype is on backcloth. But when you look around here, you'll see canvas, you'll see paper. So before you think about backcloth, you have already loved. If you are a love of art and you are the person who fears backcloth.
Artisans say backcloth could become one of Uganda's strongest national symbols if supported.
Actually, I don't know of any mode that we can use to brand Uganda. I think Uganda can be branded in one word, backcloth.
From the tree that gives it life to the hands that shape it, the backcloth carries stories across generations.
Transform your future with Cavendish University, Uganda. At Cavendish University, Uganda, we are committed to providing you with the best education, state-of-the-art facilities, and experienced lecturers at all our faculties. Are you an IT specialist? Are you interested in artificial intelligence? Cavendish University is excited to introduce the Bachelor of Science in Data Science and Artificial Intelligence, where you will learn to harness the power of big data to drive innovation and decision-making. Are you a health specialist seeking to lead in the healthcare sector? We have the Advanced Diploma in Health Leadership and Management, equipping you with the skills to manage healthcare organizations effectively. Join us today and start your journey towards a brighter future. For more information, contact Your Transformative Education awaits Success begins at Cavendish University.
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Movit Relaxer Cream, brought to you by Africa's leading hair and skin experts. I get to wear my hair like I live my life. Movit Relaxer features a moisture-locking ingredient that protects your strands for strength, length, and lasting health, however you wear it. Curly, bouncy, or straight. Movit brings a dazzling brilliance to black hair. Keep moving, keep shining. Bring your hair gold to life and embrace the extraordinary version of you. Movit, all day confidence.
Are you planning an event or wedding? Join us at Nikan Resort Hotel, Uganda. Relaxing accommodation rooms, well-equipped conference halls and boardrooms. Don't miss this fantastic opportunity to experience the best of hospitality and sufficient space. We're located in Seguku Katale, along Entebbe Kampala Road, channeling easy access to Kampala City and the airport. For reservations and inquiries, contact using the information on your screen or visit our website www.nikanresort.com.
Be classic by turning every wash into freshness with Classic Detergent Powder, the high-performance washing solution for all your laundry needs. Toughest on stains, gentle on your hands, and keeps your clothes looking fresh and bright. Enjoy the long-lasting freshness of lavender and lily fragrances. Classic Detergent Powder is affordably priced, giving you unbeatable quality at a price you will love. Customer formulunji, byara mu class ng'okozesa sabuni waffe owobuwunga Classic. Genda kuduka lyonneri kuli okumpi oba supermarket osabe Classic Detergent Powder. Classic Detergent Powder, experience a burst of freshness. Distributed by Chopper General Enterprises, located at shop number 3, Rafik Building, Chikovo, Kampala.
Buy genuine Decra roofing tiles, the original stone-coated alu zinc steel roofing system from New Zealand. Choose from Heritage, Milano, Shingo, Shake, and Classic profiles with a variety of colors and a 50-year warranty. Only available at Depot Uganda. Telephone 0776 898 888 or 0758 853 285. Depot Uganda. Tried, tested, and trusted.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Just Kamut Lager. Alcohol is not for certain persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Oh, baby change.
Mommy is sick again.
We need money for the hospital.
Bambi, chijakugwa. Charlie.
From your hands abroad to their hearts at home, send and receive money with Wendy in partnership with Western Union. Download the Wendy app on Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to send, receive, and pay your bills at the lowest cost.
Happy birthday to you, mommy.
Wendy Wonawoli.
You see, I've been a painter for almost 4 decades, and I have found Global Paints to be very reliable. First, everyone knows we use Global Paint undercoat. Now, for the best results, I continue with Global Paints products. I go for silk vinyl when it comes to the interior. Then Global Matte for the ceiling, and when it comes to weatherproof, I go for Global Weather Coat Emulsion. With that one, the house will never peel. Now, there you have a sparkling, magical-looking house. And then the client is very happy. He recommends me to another person who recommends me to another person who recommended me to come and do the advert.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later. Huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Welcome back. It's time to look at some business. Now, the government of Uganda and Standard Chartered Uganda have signed a deal worth 641.1 million euros, approximately 2.747 trillion shillings, to fund crucial infrastructure projects. This agreement is part of Uganda's tenfold growth strategy aimed at expanding the economy to $500 billion by 2040.
The projects include infrastructure development, aligning with President Museveni's vision to boost manufacturing and create employment opportunities. Speaking shortly after penning the agreement, Finance Minister Matia Kasaija said Uganda is moving ahead with its ambitious growth plans.
Will enhance tourism potential of the areas around Lake Albert, improve access to rural, economically productive areas, and thereby contribute to socio-economic development, poverty reduction, and support local economic activities by reducing the transport costs and the travel time.
The 342.5 million euros, about 1.4 trillion shillings loan from Standard Chartered, will finance the 400 kV Karuma-Toro double-circuit power line and Ntenda substation to enhance transmission from Karuma hydropower plant. This investment will provide reliable electricity for industries and urban areas, creating jobs and positioning Uganda as an East African energy hub.
Now you can imagine this is what is going to be empowering a lot of citizens, a lot of industries. It is going to give us an opportunity also to export power. Uganda has done very well on power. And all these investments that we have signed up are linked to the tenfold GDP growth ambition that the nation has very much.
A separate 182.8 million euros, which is about 754.5 billion shillings loan, will finance phase 2 of the Strategic Towns Water Supply and Station project covering Nakasongola district and other clusters like Kamuli, Mayuge, Bugweri, and Aleptong. Standard Chartered will also provide 115.8 million euros, which is about 486 billion shillings loan facility. This will help finance the construction of the Karugutu-Ntoroko Road of 56.5 km, Rebisengo Link of 8.2 km, and 3.3 km Ntoroko Town roads. The road upgrades will support infrastructure development in the Albertan region, a key trade route linking Uganda to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Finance Minister Matia Kasaija says the projects will go a long way in supporting Uganda's development trajectory by supporting evacuation of power from Karuma hydropower plant to identified load centers like Tororo Industrial Park and facilitate regional power trade.
I call upon the project implementers, including the contractors, project supervisors, and the government implementing agencies to ensure that this financing is put to proper use for Uganda to realize the project's objectives.
Well, let's go ahead and look at some of our forex this evening and have a look at how it closed today. Well, against the dollar, the shilling was buying at 3,558.45, but it was selling at 3,568.45. Now, the British pound, on the other hand, was buying at 4,892.86 and selling at 4,908.04, while the euro was buying at 4,239.89 and selling at 4,252.52. Regionally, the Kenyan shilling was buying at 27.56 shillings, while it was selling at 27.68 shillings. Now, the Tanzanian shilling was also buying there at 1.37 and selling at 1.39. That's our forex for this evening. Well, looking at our sports this evening, Rugby Football Club and Platinum Credit Limited have renewed their partnership for the next 3 years to a tune of 350 million shillings, who last weekend elected Next Media Corporate Affairs Manager Desire Mgumisa as the new club chairperson. We'll welcome this financial boost ahead of the 2026 Uganda Rugby Premiership, which kicks off next Saturday. Action will be broadcast live on NBS Sport and Afro Mobile.
The values of Chiodondo are very much aligned to the values of Platinum Credit, and it's this kind of alignment, this kind of vision that we similar visions that we have, which allows this kind of contract agreement sponsorship to thrive. That's why, as Platinum Credit, we commit that as long as this partnership is successful, we will be a part of it. What Derek is talking about, I've talked to colleagues or people who work in the franchises that are in Tanzania, that are in Kenya, and I can tell you they're all full of admiration for what you guys do, the kind of exposure that you give us, the kind of engagement that you give us. So it's a privilege on our side to be associated with you.
Going forward in this particular partnership, we are also committing in a way or two, because I think that came up in our conversations in a way, because Platinum Credit, like us, is a very big company, and they also operate in Kenya and some of these other markets. We have discussed and shall continue to discuss how this Heathens brand, because we cannot just keep being the best in Uganda. We shall tap into the region, and because of you, we are confident that we are going to be doing that.
Hey travelers, are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom. Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelcom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
You see, I've been a painter for almost 4 decades, and I have found Global Paints to be very reliable. First, everyone knows we use Global Paint undercoat. Now, for the best results, I continue with Global Paints products. I go for Silk Vinyl when it comes to the interior. Then Global Matte for the ceiling, and when it comes to weatherproof, I go for Global Weather Coat Emulsion. With that one, the house will never peel. Now, there you have a sparkling, magical-looking house. And then the client is very happy. He recommends me to another person who recommends me to another person who recommended me to come and do the advert.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
This PDM is to get all of you out of poverty. That's why we said 100 million per parish per year.
The parish development model is designed to eradicate poverty by providing the support necessary for financial independence.
We have seen how 1 million, how much 1 million can do. The whole of Uganda is very rich. So what you call poverty is actually ignorance. We need everybody to come up.
Let us all take advantage of the conducive prevailing atmosphere of political stability, peace and security to ensure that all our people come out of poverty.
And I've told the banks to stop deducting from the 1 million. You must get the 1 million full. The government is the one which will pay the bank charges.
Now the number of stools in this Matoke enterprise are 1,000. They are on 1 acre. And we harvest 17 bunches every day. The money that we get from this Matoke, after selling each bunch at 15,000 shillings, for the whole year, we get 91.9 million shillings. So I want to encourage all the people of Teso also to change the mindset and adopt to new crops which were not traditionally grown here.
We emphasize 2 words, wealth and jobs. This PDM is to get all of you out of poverty.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
There is a new era of elegance and it begins at your event. At Peno Events, we have upgraded with fresh, modern, stylish event pieces designed to transform any space into a masterpiece. From luxury tents to elegant furniture to premium mobile washrooms, hand wash stations, lounge sets, parasols, wooden chairs, modern chair set, banquet setup. Peno Events. Safe, reliable, stylish. Book now.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bolago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Bea and I were discussing tennis, and I just found out that she was a professional athlete, winning some very big medals.
Back in the day, it was a good time.
Yeah, back in the day. PLE results are out. You get to know then that we parents of those who sat senior 4 are now fasting and praying. And praying because that's going to come very soon. But we will be fine. Whatever it is, enjoy your life. It is all you have. If this week is the last you have, because that could be the case, just be sure you had the best time of your life. The more reason why we should go to catch up.
I was about to say, the other people are having a good time.
Catch up.
They're catching up.
Yeah, Uganda, Chinyuma after all.
Brought to you by...
We've been doing we since 1864. Smirnoff, we do we.